Welcome back, everyone, to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast. This time we're gonna have a glorious 2v2 on, Realms of Metal. Glorious. Already picking guard mortal coordination. Will he shut up? Thanks, Commissar Petrov. So he has shut up finally, and we can talk about the players. So I'm not sure exactly who is. Are you the person who sent in the replay? No, I don't think so. I think the person who sent in the replay is Denchip. I don't know. The replay was actually sent to me by Vasa, and glorious Vasya Gnatok. But yeah, Vasya is not appearing here. Anyway, we have Rokossovsky and Denchipsi at I'm not gay, mom. So that's what I'll call him. Because Denchipsi is like, what the hell is that? It's probably something crazy. Yeah, I don't even know, man. Russians, I just don't understand. Their enemies are Dreamwork and the Tate. Tate. So, yeah, we're gonna have a face-off on glorious little Realms of Metal. So this is the new patch, in case you guys don't follow Company of Heroes lately. There's been a new patch, and well, it does have some changes. Hopefully we'll see some of them at work. Well, I mean, maybe not hopefully for the Soviets, because some of them are bad for them. Anyway, Rokossovsky is going for tier 2, whereas I'm Not Gay Mom has spammed a few conscript squads. That's fine. We have a German sniper on the field already for Tate. That's because the Soviet sniper, which we do not see right now, only has one man at this point. They've changed it. They've nerfed the Soviet sniper. Poor sniper. Got broken up with his love interest. And yeah, at this point, it means that the German snipers don't have to fear getting really counter-sniped by the Soviet snipers as easily as they used to be. So now that the Wehrmacht sniper can freely operate, you can see that Tate goes immediately for sniper. Because the German sniper still comes from tier 1, so he can still do that. I think that this will be very, very popular in this patch, but, you know, I hope that it will get nerfed because I hate snipers. So, a bit of a nice flank from the conscript squad. Gonna come around from the side at this MG42 heavy machine gun. MG42, which tries to reset up to deal with the conscripts that are moving in. However, it's too late, too little, because there's a Maxim coming in to support, and with the other conscript squads, he is completely surrounded and forced to escape. In the meantime, the Sharpshooter can still pick off some Soviet soldiers, lone Soviet soldiers, all over the place, but it seems like the Germans have been fairly pushed back from their starting position. A lot of their units forced to flight, going back to base. And now even the sniper's not in the best of positions, as he's about to be flanked by this conscript squad. So I'm Not Gay Mom really putting up the pressure with so many conscript squads coming out for him. I like what he's doing in that he is really putting on a lot of pressure against the Germans. And what the Germans went for wasn't the best to counter it. As you can see, 240 manpower spent on a mortar and 340 on a sniper means that they don't have quite as much meat shield presence that can busy up these conscripts. So they're just able to swarm forward and push the Germans back. Still though, the Sharpshooter can do some nasty, nasty work. And yeah, as long as he continues to snipe away at Allied forces, he's gonna just rack up kills and damage. In the meantime, on the left-hand side, it seems like the Germans are trying to recapture this lost position with their pioneers, supported by an MG42. That's a good spot to put your MG42. However, it seems like the conscripts will be able to get into this building. If they can get into the building, they can flank this machine. What the hell? Those guys were definitely out of the arc of fire. They still got fired on, but they do manage to get in the building, and so now they are kind of safe from the suppression. Kind of safe. Doesn't mean completely safe. Hold on. Sorry about that. And yes, I did not want to actually go back into like Sony Vegas or something and completely edit that out, but oh well. be that as it may, we have 2 snipers from Tay, and oh boy. Yeah, 2 snipers is starting to really push it, but I can see why he's doing this. He's actually going to get flanked by a Maxim, and one of the snipers is killed by the Maxim. Amazing play by Rakosovsky. So right now, where the hell is this sniper? I don't see the corpse. Oh well, that's fine. So that's a very, very good victory, of course. 340 manpower down the drain. Wait, 340 or 360? 360, sorry. Sorry, guys. 360 manpower already down the drain, and well, luckily for the Germans, it was the unvetted one, so I guess that's a little bit of a consolation for the Nazis. And of course, the machine gun also turns around and is able to suppress these grenadiers as well, without really too much problem. And the grenadiers here are also taking massive damage. Will they go down? Most likely, Tay loses yet another infantry squad. So after losing a 240 manpower grenadier and a 360 manpower sniper, you do yourself the math. That is 600 manpower lost in the space of a few seconds. So of course, Tay can't really afford to lose this that much more. And oh boy. Flamethrower moving up to try to deal with the machine gun. Along with the help of the mortar, it does manage to force the machine gun back into base. Rifle grenades trying to stop the flanking conscripts. Not enough, as the conscripts right about now are trying to flank around this machine gun. They will get into the building, thus putting this Grenadier squad into a very bad position. They're going to have to escape. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. And the machine gun also has to get the hell out of there, with the mortar trying to reposition to get some good shots on the Soviet approaching units. Still, though, we have a triple cap set up by the Soviets. So we have the triple cap that's really tearing apart the Germans' points, and that's not good. They really need to find some way to, well, get their shit together. And, well, Tay, does he have a plan? Does he have a plan? He's not going for Battle Phase 1 nor Battle Phase 2. Dreamwork has gone for Battle Phase 2 and does have a scout car on the field, so this might help turn it around. And, I mean, an armored vehicle is, I guess, the first thing that we need to see to if you're the Germans. And, oh boy, this squad is in big, big trouble. Do we have anti-tank grenades? No, we don't. Do we have anti-tank grenades? Yes, we almost have anti-tank grenades, but one of the squads does get wiped out by the 222, and the 222 is even probably going to chase down this other squad. Might not kill it, but still, that's some very, very, very bad, very, very bad, oh boy. Is that a 120mm? Yes, that is a 120mm, now with 5 crewmen. Not really sure why 5 crewmen, like, why? I just don't understand. Anyway, the 120mm, of course, always strong as fuck. And yeah, as you can see, the scout car is chasing down the infantry units, but I don't think it will be able to wipe it out. Or it does manage to actually get a couple of hits with the autocannon, and he moves into the base and completely guns down the last conscript. So the 222 already kind of paying for itself by wiping out 2 conscript squads at 480 manpower. That is more than the manpower you've spent on the 222 by far. Still, this thing has a fuel cost, and yet another conscript squad moves in with almost no HP, and yeah, the 222 will come in and destroy it. He does eat a anti-tank grenade, and at this point, yep, it looks like 2 more anti-tank grenades will be coming from these conscript squads, thus ending the life of the blessed 222. But the 222 has managed to, in the meantime, get 8 kills and 3 wipes, which makes it a very, very successful scout car as far as scout cars go. Still, though, will this help the Germans in any way to retake control of this game? It does not look like it as a whole, but it does help the Germans out, like, temporarily. As you can see, they've been able to push up their units a lot more, especially in the left side, which is where the 222 was operating. And in the center, it seems like the Germans also tried to make a bit of a push, but they were repulsed by the MGs that the Allies have over there. In the meantime, we have a few conscript units moving up to try to deal with this grenadier push, and yeah, the MG42 will have to reposition to get some suppressing fire on these conscripts. Molotov comes down on the grenadier squad, almost wipes it out, but the grenadiers will be able to escape with the cover of this MG42. However, what will cover the MG42 itself from these conscripts? The answer is nothing. So the conscripts do get behind the machine gun from Molotov at empty machine gun crew, and then they will get into the building, thus sort of chasing down that MG crew and forcing it to escape. On the right side, Tay is capturing the VP, but it might not be enough, really. Well, it will be enough to slow down the bleed that the Germans are being subjected to. Of course, with the Tier 2 on the field for Dreamwork, he does have Panzer Grenadiers moving up, and with their STG-44s, they'll have a very, very good sort of role in that they will be the ones to defeat the enemy at close range and close to medium ranges. That's what these Panzer Grenadiers are good for. That's what they will still be good for. And right now, they need some support, though. For example, something to deal with this 120mm mortar, which, despite the fact that it's only got 5 crew members, is still a very, very effective little unit. A demo charge and a T-70. What just died? Brave infantry made the ultimate sacrifice. I do not know what that entails, but oh well. So center and right side falling to the Nazis, and the left hand side also being pressured by the Germans. Things are starting to look up for them, but once the 120mm mortar and the T-70 get into action, it will not look quite so good for them. And yeah, T-70, of course, very, very strong. Needs to be careful, though. Panzerfausts are a thing. He's against 2 Wehrmacht, so every Grenadier squad will have the Panzerfaust, and also, possibly, Tier 3 will be coming for the Germans sometime soon. Although, ooh, nice. Does wipe out one of the machine guns. Will he try to actually move the machine gun to destroy it? Who knows? Yeah, as you can see from the overall minimap, it seems like the Germans are trying to really fortify up the center and the left, but the right side they have not been able to tame, and so the Allies can use this right side as a sort of flanking ground to move into the center. We'll see if they can do that, especially with the help of the T-70. T-70 will guard the machine gun as a conscript squad approaches to steal it. That's a very good move from Rokossovsky, and that will help, of course, just improve the Soviet support weapon inventory for the defense of their own territory. Of course, with the guard mortar coordination, he is getting the 120mm, but soon enough, he might want to get out some guards riflemen infantry, who are going to be quite good, although a little bit vulnerable to the sniper because they're pretty expensive, so who knows. Denchik, or I am not gay mom, actually went for the B4. Glorious counterattack tactics. And, well, I mean, counterattack tactics can be okay. You need to not be too much into KV-1s, because KV-1s are, well, kind of derp. He's going for Tier 4, which might mean KV-1. But, I mean, like, one KV-1, that's fine. It's when things really start to get, I don't know, nasty when it comes to KV-1s. If you are a little too kinky into them, they will bite you in the rear because they're slow. They've only got the T-34 76 gun, so not that much firepower. And, I mean, their armor's good, but it's not that amazing. And also, they're expensive. So again, that's like one of them is fine. Then after that, you get Su-85s. Use them as meat shields, and you get Su-85s. One thing that I like is Rokossovsky's usage of the demo charges. Of course, at this point in KO2's development history, the demo charge is spotted by close-by enemy infantry, so you need to be careful to not position these in a place where the enemy is going to discover them. So actually putting them behind buildings is a good idea because it will afford them the cover of the true sight system. So if they can't see the demo charge anyway, they will never be able to spot it. So if a unit were to come around here or maybe try to get into the building, you can just detonate the demo charge and really put a hurt on them. Just like this 120mm and its newly acquired friend are doing. Do I see a mine? I see a mine. No minesweepers for the Allies. Not that I see him. So that's kind of sad. Oh boy. T-70 moving into the base. Wow, that's very ballsy, and he's actually going to find a Pioneer squad gonna try to destroy the Pioneer squad, and, well, I mean, I'm not sure this is worth sending your T-70 to the enemy base for. Might want to destroy the medical bunker, but it's gonna take so long now. He has to escape. Pak-40 AT gun is actually trying to come in to destroy the T-70. And yeah, he's gonna try to finish off the repair bunker, or sorry, not the repair bunker, the medical bunker, but the Pioneers were repairing this thing faster than the T-70 could damage it, and the T-70, sorry, not the T-70, the Pak-40 is around trying to destroy this thing, finishing it off. But it does miss a lot, so the T-70 probably will escape. Yeah, it looks like he will escape out of the base. Grand Theft T-70 just kind of doing a bit of a drive-by shooting. And right now, it seems like the Panzer Grenadiers will move in. Can they finish off this conscript squad? Most likely. We have a Katyusha coming in. Yep, another wipeout of these conscripts. Of 6 conscript squads, I believe, that were built by 7 conscript squads that were built by Amunagay-Bomb. He's only got 4 left. Sorry, not 4. He's got 3 left. So that's not great. Despite all these kind of twists and turns, the Axis have been able to sort of consolidate their position in the center and left. But they still need to really, really consolidate it. Like, as it stands, it's kind of vulnerable. This whole area is kind of vulnerable. Like, there isn't really much in the way of armor that the Germans have. So if they lose these positions, if their support weapons get pushed back in some way, if they lose the sniper, you know, there's all sorts of things that can go wrong for them. That would mean that, oh, for example, a Katyusha barrage could hit them. That would mean that, essentially, the Soviets can push in pretty much unscathed. They are lucky that this AT gun survived with just a sliver of HP, but most likely the bunker will go down. No, it will not. That's lucky as hell. That is very, very lucky. And oh boy. Oh, never mind. 120mm mortar, putting a few hundreds of grams of Soviet vengeance straight into that bunker. Oh no, we are pioneers. We're gonna try to capture the VP. Maxim Kapulymyot says no to that. So in terms of teching, of course, we have Mr. Rokossovsky, or Mar Rokossovsky, who has tier 4 coming up. He's of course got the T-70, which is pretty good actually in the late game because combat mode and recon mode. If you go into recon mode, you do have that great line of sight that you need to use in the late game. And now that he's going for tier 4, might want to go for T-34-85s. Who knows though. Amunagay-Bomb has a T-34-76 to go with his Katyusha. So big rocket launcher and fast medium tank. I'm not sure. Getting the T-34 quite so late into the game is kind of a gamble, especially when your ally has T-34-85s, which are more, you know, more appropriate for this moment in history. And yeah, but still, T-34-76 can be useful. Dreamwork has gone for Battle Phase 3, but he doesn't have the buildings yet. Whereas Tay only has Battle Phase 2, and he also does not have the buildings. So as you can see, with 170 fuel in the bank, the Germans are very much behind when it comes to the teching. Not really that much because of their resources, which they have been able to... They've been able to catch up on the resources in the last few minutes, as opposed to the early minutes of the game when the Allies had a big advantage. But the problem lies in the fact that they're not using their resources, really, and that's kind of a shame. Actually, the T-34 very boldly goes in and tries to destroy the infantry company building, and he's gonna get a face full of, you know, German tungsten as a result of this, but... yeah, he does manage to get a lot of damage on this thing. Can he escape? Most likely. In the meantime, we have a big push coming in from the Allies in the center, making use of the fact that the Pak-40 was pulled back to shoot at the T-34. They're using the T-70, flanking around the second Pak. We have a big artillery piece firing from the German area of the map all the way to the sort of Soviet area where they're advancing. And this will be bad for the T-70 as the Pak-40 tries to damage it and almost... you know, this almost results in destruction of the T-70 because of the LEFH artillery piece. AT gun needs orders. machine gun does its thing. That's pretty much what you'd expect. So as long as the Germans can recapture these weapons, they're going to have, again, a solid base of, well, maybe not that solid, but relatively solid base with which to defend 1 or 2 VPs. But as I said, also, without armor, they don't really have the guarantee that they can come, well, once they lose these points, that they can come back and recapture them and sort of spar on equal footing with the Allied armor, and the Allied armor right now is pretty powerful. The German armor, not so much. We do have a Brummbär coming through for the Dreamwork, and Tete is going for a P4, so finally the Germans will have some kind of panzers of their own to counter the Soviet T-34s. Speaking of T-34s, we also have the new version. T-34-85 comes through for Rokossovsky, and with the T-34-85 on the field, this will be a potent little tool to deal with the Panzer IV and the Brummbär. So, despite the fact that the Germans finally have been able to arm themselves with panzers, well, at this point we're going to need to see if they can use them correctly against a, well, still superior Allied tank force with, you know, 1 T-34 and 1 T-34-85. They can pretty much deal with the Panzer IV, and the Brummbär is not going to be that much of a help in this fight. What is in the favor of the Germans are their Teller mines. Oh boy, is he going to survive? Yes. Are the Teller mines and their packs, which right now, as you can see, the packs are supporting the Brummbär quite effectively. That means that the T-34-85 has to escape. What is this T-70 doing? This is not the best place to be if you're a T-70. And yeah, he has to escape out of there. So despite the new purchases for the Germans, it's still not looking all that good for them. Do we have a B4 on the field? No, and the B4 might be built to counter the German artillery piece, but the German artillery piece really is the better one in the artillery duel, usually, because of the counter battery ability. So once the LEFH artillery gets to Vet 1, it's going to be in a great spot, and the other German German doctrine pick has been the Jaeger armor for Dreamwork. And Dreamwork is actually the one who went for Tier 4. So interestingly enough, the guy that went joined Ops and thus does not have any call-ins went for Tier 3, whereas the guy with the call-in, the Elephant, went for Tier 4. That seems like kind of a waste of resources. And, well, it still means that he can get the Elephant later. Oh boy, the Brummbär's not in the best spot. T-34-76 gets behind it. However, yeah, the pack gun is ready to support. Its, you know, big brother. And right now, oh boy, T-34-76 actually dies to this, so that's a nasty, nasty shock to the Soviets, who now know that they can't really use their vehicles as aggressively as they may want. Even the T-34-85 is in trouble. He is lucky that that AT gun missed, but we do have a Stug coming in to try to chase down the T-34-85. Yeah, again, the Stug, kind of a derp. The Stug did get changed in the patch, but I didn't really look at the changes. So, yeah, I don't even know if it's any different. I'd be ignorant. Who is the Guards mortar firing against? AT gun. Yeah, well, Katyusha does its thing. And it's actually going to be chased down by the Brummbär. The Brummbär is moving in to just ruin the day of the Soviet forces in the center, but Damaged Engine will ruin its day from the conscripts. Well done. However, there's nothing that can follow up. No AT guns being built by Mr. Rokossovsky means that there's really not a lot of sustained damage that can be dealt to this Brummbär. German AT gun is destroyed, but there's not much that the Allies can do to utilize it. Well, actually, there's no Germans here, so this AT gun might be stolen by the conscripts. The conscripts do steal it. Let's see if they can escape. Most likely they can. And they should at least get this AT gun into safety and, well, save it. Oh boy. Command bunker coming in. Can this help against, Can this help against whatever is vexing the Germans right now? I mean, the problem is the T-34s. Like, pretty clearly, we have two T-34-85s now on the field for Rokossovsky, and now he's going to try to chase down the LEFH artillery and destroy the gun. which might be a good idea. However, as you can see, the Germans do have quite a lot of AT guns ready to respond, and this is exactly what they needed. You know, Panzergrenadiers with Shreks and Stugs and AT guns. So of course the reason why this bunker is being placed here is just to try to have something that can reinforce them on the field, especially the AT guns, I would say, because it is pretty common right now for the Germans to lose their mortars, their machine guns, their AT guns. So they're trying to get something to counter that because, oh no, they lose something. Well, they can recruit with Pioneers and reinforce off the bunker. Still though, this does not change the fact that they're trying a passive strategy against an enemy that can get a lot of artillery to bear against them, as they've already seen. They don't know that it's a counterattack tactics that they're facing, so I guess that's good for them, but they know that there's 120mm mortars and they know that there's Katyusha rocket launchers, so really huddling around the, you know, reinforcement bunker and trying to passively hold on to 2VPs might not be the best thing for them. But yet, looks like, yeah, T-70 is dead. Another vehicle has been lost in the defense of the Rodina. Oh well, that's sad for it. These heroes of the Soviet Union will not be forgotten. It's okay. It's only the T-70. As much as you do not want to lose it, because, you know, you don't want to lose units, and because, again, it's pretty useful for the recon mode, it's not the worst thing to lose. Right now, T-3485s being built by, you know, the dozens. T-34 hordes are coming in. Oh boy, that's not that great. He is in a bad spot. These two Stugs are looking at him. Okay, he can escape. Still, as I was saying, like, as much... Oh boy. As much as this is not the worst thing in the world, if you're the Germans, it's not the best thing either. Again, like, what they're going for is a lot of very, very passive units, except for the Panther and the P4. And the Panther and the P4, I feel like, will slowly but surely become the main units that they're going to use to face off against these T-3485s. If the T-3485s can find an opening, they can get behind the Stugs and really, really hurt them. Probably just destroying them. And if they can get behind into the artillery, that would be even better. The artillery itself is going to be vulnerable to the B4, which is now operational. Oh boy, we do have the B4 firing. It already got 3 kills on something. Will it fire on this mega blob of Nazis? It did miss, unfortunately for it. But still, though, the Germans now need to be afraid of yet another piece of indirect fire that can be lobbed against them. Once those B4 shells start to actually land, they will hurt greatly. Can the B4 even fire on the... Yeah, it can. However, the Germans have deployed a recon, which would be good if the Stuka bombing strike was ready. Not enough munitions means that this thing is not going to be destroying the B4. Su-85 on the field for I'm Not Gay Mom. I think that's a very good choice, because at this point the Germans are really starting to ramp up on the armor. As you can see with, you know, 2, 3, 5 vehicles, I think. Yeah, 5 vehicles on the field, 5 big AFVs. They need to find some way to counter these, and the Su-85s are, of course, pretty great at that. With the support of T-3485s, they can really have a lot of versatility. And with the Germans managing to capture the center and the left-hand side, they're gonna need to find ways to really get back into this game and hold these points, because as you can see, their point count is down to 140. If they can keep the point count down to 140, that is a relatively safe margin, even if you like lose some points every once in a while. If you even get triple capped by accident, you're not really going to be in the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone is not going to apply to you. Interesting miss by the B4. And if you go like down below 120, that is really danger zone, because a triple cap only kills you in 2 minutes, and in 6 minutes a normal cap kills you. So if any like reversal in the tide happens, if you have like 120, 100 points, that's already not that safe. So if you are the Germans at this point, you try to fortify up the center and the left, and that is exactly what they're doing, and it is exactly what they should be doing. They should also try to deal with the Stuka, not the Stuka bombing strike, the howitzer, but they don't seem to be capable of doing this. They're just kind of derping it all up. Honestly, yeah, like, I'm not quite sure what's so difficult. Like, just have one guy coordinate, say, I'm gonna do the reconnaissance overflight, and then the other guy does the Stuka bombing strike. I don't know. I don't know. Yet another engagement over the center is gonna break out. And looks like the Pak-40 might get restolen by the Germans. That's not good, because this thing is important. Katyusha barrage coming down on the Grenadiers. That's actually very dangerous, as these Grenadiers are very important to the German performance. They are vet-free, and one of them goes down. In the meantime, also the Stupa takes some damage and is forced to escape. So that means a little bit of a happier time for the Allied infantry. And oh boy, Panzer IV, very lucky that both of the T-34-85s miss this first volley up against it. Panther tries to move up on the left, but is going to eat an anti-tank grenade. Of course, not much damage because it was full HP. And right now, actually, the Su-85 is going to fire through the little destroyed shack to do a lot of damage to P4. T-34-85 comes in to finish the job. Well done. So that's a good thing. And now it's looking a little bit better for the Allies now that they've destroyed that P4, because Tate has no more mediums on the field. He does have a lot of resources with which to build new Panzer IVs, but still, oh boy, here comes a Stuka bombing strike. That was actually well placed, because this has forced Mr. Rokossovsky to move up his tanks, and that's not very good, of course, as one of them goes down to the Pak-40. Moving up into the arc of fire of that Pak-40 was not the most safe options, but he did not want to die to the Stuka bombing strike. Well played by Tate. Actually, no, by Tate and Dreamwork. You know, showing some teamwork for once. Damn. B4 actually starting to get some kills and is up to Vet 1. With Vet 1, of course, it can use direct fire attacks, so vehicles need to be a little bit more afraid of it. What is this? It's an Ostwind. Why Ostwinds? Why Ostwinds? I dislike Ostwinds. I think that this is a bad decision. Like, I just... What is he afraid of? There's no planes. Like, of course, there's one recon run. And you can use Panzer IVs against infantry just fine, and they can also deal with enemy vehicles. And I'm pretty sure it's clear that the Allies are bringing in vehicles. I don't know, man. He decides to go for an Ostwind. Oh, here they come. Oh, look. This vehicle is so useful. The Panzer IV could not have done better. So scary. My dislike of the Ostwind aside, we do have finally some guards from Rokossovsky. T-34-85 gonna defend the right side of the map, so triple cap is established by the Germans, but not for long. Really not. The Grenadiers will close in for a Panzerfaust. Might not be the best thing ever. Actually, oh, that was mistimed. They should have waited until the Stugs had hit this thing a few times, and then the Panzerfaust would have destroyed the engine, allowing the SUs, sorry, not the SUs, the Stugs, to move in and get the kill. However, it was not enough. Elephant Tank Destroyer is on the field for Dreamwork, thus putting him, again, even more on the side of not versatile, because this thing is nothing but a bit of an investment when it comes to time, resources, micro, and it's not like it can do that many things. It can fire at enemy vehicles that are in front of it. So, once again, yet another thing that's very vulnerable to a T-34 flank. However, this thing does accomplish some good in that it's a great counter to SUs, so that's great. Okay, howitzer reloaded and ready. Will it fire on something? Who knows? Actually, we do have the German howitzer trying to counter-battery the Soviet howitzer, and, well, almost effective. Oh, look, the Ostwind killed the recon plane. Well done. Was that worth the Ostwind? Probably not. Bit of a lull in the fighting, actually. And, yeah. This Brumbear has been a good investment, actually. 48 kills. Very well. And there goes the T-34. Not 85. 76. That was then... And actually, Rokossovsky decides to go for more SUs instead of more T-34s. Why? Clearly wants to deal with the Stugs a little bit safely. But it's gonna make him more vulnerable to the Elephant. I guess he didn't know the Elephant was there when he built the SUs. So, well, with the Axis having the two caps in the center and the left pretty much under their control, what they need to do, again, is to fortify up their position, but they need to not kind of slide back into... Oh boy, is that Panzer Grenadier gonna die? Yes, it is. Fire cleanses. They need to not slide back into passivity again, because if they just become passive and not do much, well, things are... Oh, there goes the B4. That was what should have been done a while ago, to be honest, and why B4s aren't like the best thing ever. I mean, generally against anyone with Stuka bombing strikes, artillery pieces will have a hard time. Still though, like, the thing that I was saying is that, well, oh boy, anti-grenade, yeah, that's the Ostwind, dead, most likely. They need to not slide back into, you know, playing passively, because otherwise, well, something like this will happen. Here comes the T-34-85, being supported by quite a bit of Su-85 firepower. The Soviet infantry is trying to move in, and there's not much German infantry that can respond to this. MG-42 too far away to help. The heavy tank destroyer does not die instantly, and the T-34-85 is destroyed. Another Su-85 is destroyed. The Elephant, in the meantime, died, as expected. In the meantime, the Austrians are trying desperately to respond to this Soviet infantry push, but the Soviet infantry has decrewed these anti-tank guns, which are now being destroyed by their own vehicles. The Panther has a damaged engine, so it's actually not in the best of positions. The Su-85, luckily for it, is also pretty damaged, and, well, now it can only really cover the conscripts against the Brumbear, even though, you know, Brumbear, very, very scary. And this whole engagement, despite the losses, went pretty well for the Soviets. Like, they lost the T-34-85, an Su-85, and maybe another Su-85? Maybe another Su-85 over here? Yeah, maybe. But they were able to destroy the Elephant, so that's, of course, very, very important. And, well, you know, the Elephant can't really replace right about now. Really, a half-track. Why a half-track, though? Like, my friend, do you realize your buddy built a command bunker over here for exactly this purpose? Ah, well. That's fine. Triple cap. Can the Germans do it? Not sure. Oh, crap. Oh crap, if you're the Germans, we have Further Mortarland being actually activated by I'm Not Game On. And actually, both conscript squads select a different target for their anti-tank grenades, which means that the Panther and the Sturmpanzer Brumbear both have a damaged engine. So right now they're in big, big trouble as the Su-85s are moving in with their long-range 85mm AT guns. They're doing very, very, you know, substantial damage to the Panther. Can they, you know, chase this thing down and destroy it? I think so. Oh, he misses the last shot. In the meantime, we have two Su-85s trying to move into the center, and it looks like the Stugs and the Ostwind have been beaten back with heavy damage. So that's, of course, looking good for the Soviets, who are able to capture the center thanks to these SUs. If these Grenadiers are destroyed, then they can also capture the right side VP. The left side VP is not, you know, it's not going to be an easy capture because of all this German defense, but there's not much that the Germans can do to these Su-85s at this point. So if the Su-85s can continue pounding on the German defensive front, they can destroy the bunker, they can destroy the Brumbear, and the Katyusha can destroy the machine gun. Yep, there we go. And right now these Panthers are, well, the Panther and the Stupa are without repairs. So because of the fact that somehow the Soviets are able to keep their vehicles in full repair, or at least have vehicles that don't need to be repaired to the fullest, because of course the Su-85 can just kind of sit back and fire. It does not need full HP to do that. And as long as you can keep it safe, you can take some risks with it. Thanks to that, you know, despite the fact that the Germans really have, I guess you could say, an equal tank force, they're losing because their equal tank force can't fight, whereas the Soviet force can. And yeah, there goes the Stupa. The price will be probably a conscript and an Su-85. Oh boy. Will he try to escape with the second one? He will. Okay, good. So he will survive, at least with one of the SUs. In the meantime, the Fort of Motherland, you know, Fort of Motherland buffed infantry is trying to move in. However, yeah, machine gun bunker plus the normal machine gun will stop the Soviet infantry in their tracks. Stug dies, and the Pak-40 dies in the meantime for Tate. Tate also has a Pak-43 on the field, but the Pak-43 is going to be very vulnerable to the Katyusha rockets. So I think that this is not exactly the best purchase ever if you're Tate, honestly. I would have rather gone for more packs, normal packs, if I needed AT. And, well, I would have definitely gone for tier 4 and gotten out Panthers, because at this point, it's like, yeah, there's Su-85s, and a lot of those. So Panther, you use that, you flank around, you support it with minesweepers, which you do have, unlike the Allies, they have, well, at this point, the Allies also have minesweepers. Support it with minesweepers, support it with whatever infantry you have, and you go after the rear of the Su-85s and the Katyusha as well, that is, you know, pestering you. Has been pestering you for the entirety of this game. I don't know, man. The inability of the Germans to do this is definitely going to be a big cause for their downfall, if it is indeed going to come. I can already see Hitler right now raving in the middle of the bunker, kind of like going, "Das war ein Befehl, Steiner." You know? He was just thinking too much of defending one sector instead of being proactive. Again, Germans not really being that proactive means that they lost the initiative to the Allies after they retook the initiative from the Allies, because remember, it was the Germans who initially were on the back foot, but they came back into the game and they got into this position where now they're even when it comes to VPs with the Allies. However, now they're really starting to, well, not really starting to, let the initiative slip back into the hands of the Allies. And with the high ground, the Allies can now really put the hurt on them. Nasty Katyusha barrage plus Molotov cocktail is going to put an end to this Pak-40's career, Pak-43's career. And with the Pak-43 dead, that means that there's nothing to stop the Allied armor from just moving into the center and dealing with these Broom Bears. Also, the Su-85s can really easily destroy the Pak-43's actual gun, as they do. However, they will take a lot of damage from both this anti-tank gun and this Panther, so that's not very good. Of course, that is the power of the Pak-40 and the Panther, but the Panther moves in a little bit too close, eats an anti-tank grenade. He's alone with no partners, so the Panther without the pack will succumb to the group predators that are the Soviets right about now. Pretty okay ambush by the Soviets. They do lose one Panther, but they destroy the Pak-43 and the Panther in... No, they did not lose a Panther. They lost an Su-85. They destroyed the Panther and the Pak-43 in response. And this Panther cannot be replaced as of now by Dreamwork because he does not have enough manpower. And he's going to go for a Panzer Grenadier squad because he needs to, you know, have map control and capture points. Is that enough? Most likely not. Tate with 400 fuel in the bank, instead of going for Ostwinds and defensive units, perhaps should have gone again for tier 4 and gotten out Panthers and maybe also not Raketenwerfers. I always get confused these two units, Panzerwerfers, because if he had a Panzerwerfer, you know, he might have something to deal with the Soviet infantry that was coming in and capturing his points, and it would also be a good, you know, little vehicle to try to at least force the Katyusha to be a little bit more mindful of its surroundings. It fires, as of right now, it just kind of stays there. after it has relocated just a tiny bit to not get hit by the LEFH artillery on counter battery. If it can survive that, it is fine. But if you can use a reconnaissance overflight in combination with the Panzerwerfer's barrage, then you can destroy the Katyusha rocket truck pretty easily. So now, the VP situation is again equal, but the actual field situation is in the favor of the Allies. Despite the fact that if you're gonna look at the pop caps, you see that it's mostly even. You see the compositions, and you can see that the compositions are very much in favor of the Allies when it comes to the versatility, because we have artillery, we have tank destroyers, and we have veteran infantry and some mortars as a whole, versus, well, the artillery piece is great, the Broom Bear, having one is always useful, but the infantry force is not nearly as good for the Germans as it is for the Allies right now, not nearly as plentiful especially. So that means that the Allies will always have more forces that can come back around and capture points after an engagement. And especially, I mean, the Axis are really lacking medium tanks right about now. The Allies do not have any medium tanks, but at this point they don't need them as much because the role is being played by their infantry, the role of like the pushing unit, whereas their tank destroyers are supporting the infantry. And with only tank destroyers and some specialized units, the Germans are starting to fall behind. As you can see, another flank coming in from these conscripts means that they just don't have the units to come in here and deal with this. So the Austin takes a tank grenade, and the Su-85 can come in and finish it off. Luckily for the Germans, the Pak-43 was just rebuilt here. So due to this kind of coincidence, they're able to destroy the Su-85. They're actually able to destroy the Tu-485 as well. So that's not good for the Allies. And there goes one of these squads as well, and they will surrender. What? The Soviets surrendered? Really now? That, wow. It was going so well for them. They had just managed to get back into this game. They have a Katyusha that can deal with the Pak-43 yet again. It's like, oh, it doesn't really matter if there's a new Pak-43 because they can kill it again. Despite the fact that they lost 2 infantry squads, they still have an infantry force. And, yeah, I think that was kind of just a twitch reaction by Rokossovsky because he lost his 2 vehicles. But they still have Su-85s, they still have Katyusha. They still could have rebuilt T-34s. A new Elephant was coming, which means that, you know, you could have dealt with that. And really, it's like, if they had just dealt with 2 machine guns and the Broom Bear, there would have been nothing to stop them from controlling at least one of these other VPs. So the VP situation wasn't that bad for the Allies. Oh well, I guess they decided to surrender anyway. Oops. Oh well, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed. I'll see you soon, and have a good day.